Welcome everyone to Check-In with Rose and
Nakel.
we believe that clarity begins within and courage follows on our podcast.
So each month we will be exploring one intentional theme where we'll be reflecting on how that helps us in growing, reflecting, and finding your voice.
So this month for February, we have decided that we are going to focus on identity and finding your voice. I just want to thank everybody for your support, for your love. We like to start out with a quote that reflects the theme for this month. So I will start with identity. So Carl Jung actually said that the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are.
With identity, there's a correlation when it comes to our voice. Maggie Khan said, "Speak your mind even if your voice is shaking."
Identity and finding your voice actually correlates, because without identity, you're not going to be able to have the confidence to express your own voice, right? So sit in with this, receive it, reflect, and we're excited to dive into the topic.
Rose is somebody that came to Australia at the age of
5, 6 years old, so very young, at a tender age. And when I came here, it was back in the year 2000. So as you can imagine, there was barely any South Sudanese at that time. Just reflecting on that situation itself, assimilating into a new country, being a young South Sudanese little girl attending school, there's a sense of like feeling like I don't belong, because now I'm seeing younger children of different color skin, learning a different language, right? And then when I go home, that's completely different. But I really want us to unpack it through a lens of who are you really outside of all that?
Coming with parents who speak one language, you're navigating them speaking Nuer at home, Dinka, Shuluk, all the 64 tribes of South Sudan, or other African languages that we all come with. And then you step outside the house and you're now putting on a different hat, which is obviously you're learning to speak English. Something happens there where there's a shift. You end up learning a language and assimilate quicker because obviously you're younger. And then now your parents are struggling to learn that language. And this is something that we've seen in our roles, in our jobs, that there's actually a lot of language barrier. And just because you guys obviously speak the same language at home, some of us actually learn it when you've come to Australia in comparison to how your mom learned it back home. Because like Rose said, environment matters. There's a way my mom translates what was said to her by her parents, and I realized I translated differently, because context matters. Yeah. Mom would say, there was a village that raised her, there was all this people. When I asked, I was like, where's that village? Because the person that disciplines you is the person that feeds you.
That's right.
My mom didn't have that. The person that fed her, sometimes not the person that disciplined her. So she had the village that made sure she was being nurtured, but then at the same time she was being disciplined. Completely different people. Right. So you have grace for them, you have room for them. And something that also Rose touched upon, and I can just put it or quote it in the sense that you cannot express what you haven't discovered. A lot of us do not know how to express how hard it was to navigate that. Being somebody who's assimilating into the Australian system, your skin color is a barrier, your language is a barrier, but then at the same time, until you actually understand, the racism, the discrimination, until you actually start understanding that, that's when you actually start to realize, what is my identity? It starts making you, that's when the curious questions start coming. Why am I being treated different? Why the teachers, and it's everywhere. It's at school, it's at work, it's in everyday lifestyle. But sometimes those are the conversations, and when we come back to our living room with our parents, and you're trying to explain it, because even you yourself have not made sense of it. So when you tell them, they're like, you're lucky. You're in Australia.
Yeah.
What exactly are you struggling for? You have food, you have shelter, because the survival that they were in, to them right now, it's like you guys are thriving.
Yeah, it's
you should be thriving, but they don't know the discrimination. They don't know what it's like to be a black kid in the Australian system, navigating that, whether it's through education, whether it's through sports, whether it's through in any faculty that you go to, it's a struggle, it's a challenge.
My experience will probably look a little bit different to your experience because you came a little bit older, so you were like in your adolescent years, so you would have had a little bit of knowledge about the experience back home, whereas I didn't. Like I could barely remember much. I can remember bits and pieces back home, but not. Like I literally grew up here.
Yeah.
This is all that I've known.
So I can say you're more Australian than you actually are.
And that's
South
the thing.
Sudanese.
And that's the thing. But it's like growing up where, you know, you've highlighted that when you go to school, you feel like an outcast. You don't feel like you belong because it's like, okay, well, my skin color is different. And it's not even that awareness. It's also, you know, the bullying that confirms it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you know, like I used to love playing on the monkey bars. I used to get called monkeys. Can you imagine? Look at this monkey. So I'm like, is this a compliment or is this an insult? Like, I really don't know.
Exactly.
How do I, and being a little kid, and everyone's laughing, so you're like, what is this?
Yeah.
And coming home, it's like, I can't even have that conversation.
With your mom, because your mom's gonna be
Because
like,
she's like,
why even listen to them?
why
you
you
know
care?
you're not a monkey.
But I'm hurt, and I don't know how to navigate this feeling. Like, why is it that I cannot come home and be curious about something that's probably like not in the norm for them?
Yeah.
And them using their curiosity as well to learn and unlearn, right? But at school, like the teacher can be like, okay, you know, if you have a question, don't be afraid, like really encouraging me to use my voice. It goes back to identity and voice.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, if I go back home and my voice is being dismissed and my voice is not being heard, how does that resurface in my relationships, in my environment, as a young person, as an adult? There's no one to validate
your voice.
My voice and to encourage to use my voice and just like, you know, they could have been like, you know, well, you can stand up for yourself and be proud and embrace who you are.
Exactly.
But because I wasn't given that guidance, it was kind of like, well, just take it in and internalize it.
And I think this is where sometimes when we see someone thrive in a different way, we don't understand why. But one thing that I could say, I was grounded before I came to Australia. In that sense, I came at 13. I was so proud of who I am.
Right.
I think being in classrooms or being in environments with quote unquote Caucasians, I never cared to be a part of them. Which is obviously compared to Rose, 5 years old, she's more Australian, but she's a black Australian. How does she navigate that? I was a South Sudanese that understood that I've come to a foreign land, and South Sudanese I also grew up in Kenya, so I also speak Swahili. So when I came here, my dad already ingrained in me who I am in that sense. I was speaking Swahili, I was speaking Nuer here and there, but when I got to Australia and I started to see the real nature of like what it's like to be black in a white country, it solidified what my dad has told me about the Western world, you know? So I never cared to be liked by the quote unquote white people in that sense. Australia actually harnessed my identity in the sense that I want to truly know who I am in terms of my ancestors. Like, I'm somebody who started asking my dad, my bloodline, like 7 generations down, you know? So when I see Asians, when I see Chinese, when I see all these other people, it shows me that you can be truly who you are unapologetically and still assimilate in a new country or in a foreign country. So when I harnessed that, hence why I'm sure a lot of people who've known me, like, you're so confident. I've heard this from my teachers, I've heard this from even workplaces. I don't walk into a place feeling I should not belong because I'm like, I went to the same uni. I've sat in classrooms. You're not handing me anything.
Right.
I got my Australian citizen. I'm a citizen of this country for a reason, you know? So that feeling that you don't belong comes from the fact that sometimes if that voice from a young age has not been harnessed to be like, you came here, yes, your country had a war, yes, there's all these issues with your country, but when you learn about the issues of your country, it all comes down to what? Colonizers. Let's be honest. Africa is going through what it's going through right now because of colonization. Who did that? The same white man that is going to turn around and say they're saving you. So that gave me that. Had you guys not gone to my country, I'll not be here. So I'm here because of you.
Right.
So you know what? I am going to take every opportunity and not feel ashamed about it. My mom at some point would be like harnessing it in the sense like also being like, you're beautiful. She always validated me, you know, in that sense that there's nothing lacking in you. You're capable, you know. Although sometimes they also become our enemy because when you start getting that voice and you're speaking not for yourself, they'll tell you to
tone it down a bit. It's a bit too much. It's a bit
too
much.
So Rose had to navigate that in a way that she's Australian.
Yeah.
She doesn't know South Sudan. And even Rose can speak
I've
about
never-
her story.
Yeah, I've never been.
When did you go back?
I went back last year in April. Like for the first time in 24 years. 24 years I grew up here, and finally, you know, God made a way and I went back because I went to Ethiopia because that's obviously where I was born. And when I landed, something happened in me. Like there was like, the experience was just, and I get emotional because I'm like, wow, like I felt for the first time in a long time, there's a belongingness, there's an identity, right? Because I've been here for so long, this is all I've known. And I'm so grateful to my parents, like my mom as well, because I still carry my language. Most people don't barely speak, you know what I mean? Because you speak English at work, you speak English at home. Like English is the main language that people use to obviously communicate and to understand one another. But I'm grateful because at school, you know, I'm learning English, and then when I come home, I speak Nuer to my parents, you know, and so we speak Nuer. Me and my sister we speak Nuer. So I'm really grateful that I didn't lose that, because if I did, can you imagine if I had gone back home? How was I supposed to? That's gonna be a language barrier.
Yeah.
And then they're just gonna look at me like, whoa, what happened to you?
And they'll still judge you and say, you're speaking what? The Kawajad.
The Kawajad.
Because you have an accent. I didn't even know I have an accent till I went back.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I thought I sound okay. So when you went back, what was different for you in comparison to being in Australia? Like I said, you felt at home.
Yeah.
But is there something that you can highlight that made you feel at home?
Just walking in the streets of Gambela and seeing people, my people, speaking the same language, walking past. And just that community of like, you know, each morning me and my cousin, I remember we'll go and we'll go have like tea, we'll go have madida, and then we're just speaking our own native language. Language is an identity, you know, and I was just like, there's this belongingness, like I can walk the streets and nothing could harm me. No one could, does that make sense? No one bullied me. Safety.
Yeah, safety. And this is where cultivating identity, and that's why I always encourage us as Africans, as South Sudanese, please go back home.
Yes.
It's important, because when you step into a face where every single person you see identifies with you, it does something to you. There's some sort of healing. I can't explain it. You have to feel it.
Yeah.
You have to go for you to actually feel what that feeling is. And even if we're privileged, like the shopping centers, for example, South Sudan, like they don't have the best, they don't even have a shopping
Infrastructure
center yet.
and all that.
You know, you're gonna see people on the streets, you're gonna see people struggling. Yes, you're gonna see a few things that are disheartening. But even in the midst of that, you see those people enjoy.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, you come back and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'm walking around, you can see a homeless person here and there here in Australia.
Yeah.
But the effect that it has with you when it's your own people, it harnesses this mindset that you come back and you want to do more. Because now you understand the privilege that you have. Now you understand that you being in Australia, I want to take something back to my people.
Yeah.
Or even if I'm not taking it back, I want to make sure my people here get the best of what Australia has to offer. We went to a retreat on the weekend, and we were speaking to our mothers, and the conversations, mental health, drugs and alcohol, public speaking, we shared a lot with them. And the one thing that really, really stood out for me was what our parents thought was going to happen for us here is not what transpired, in the sense that they just focused on academia.
Yeah.
Education. But like going back to the classroom, not everybody has the strength to be discriminated, to be bullied, and not have a backbone who's your mom, your caregiver, your dad, coming in and being like, not on my watch, you're not gonna do this to my daughter, or you're not gonna do this to my son. Because a lot of times our parents don't understand that what that does to you psychologically in a classroom. How did we get to a point where I can proudly get up right now and start dancing my Nuer traditional dance anywhere on the streets? Whether there's a kawaja, it doesn't bother me. Because it's me, it's my people, it's who I am. The same way I see like all these other cultures right now. Look at TikTok. We're representing South Sudan in such a way that all the tribes are coming out. Acholi, Kakwa, so many that I didn't even know about, you know? That's what identity is. If you don't know that your roots, you can be shaken. But when you know your roots, nobody can shake you. To know our roots is to know why South Sudan is in the position that it is, why Africa is in the position that it is. When you know your history, when you know, like, there's a reason why your country is not thriving the way it is, you step into rooms and you own rooms. You don't step in shaking, questioning if you belong there. Because if the world did not have all this colonization, we would be living peacefully in our villages.
That's right. We wouldn't be here.
We wouldn't be here.
Literally.
And we didn't have an issue with that. And our parents say that a lot of times. I'm sure some of you guys are going to relate to this. When your mom and dad will be like, I left my family. I didn't want to be here. When they're angry, they say that. And when you actually listen, it's the truth. They came here because they felt we need to get better for our children. But they loved their village life. They love the simplicity of their life. You know, whether it's considered illiterate or backward by obviously the white man or the colonizer, it heals them. Sitting in that village, being with those uncles, being with that to them was their identity. It's ripped away.
Even for me, when I went back, it wasn't just a sense of like belongingness and identity, but it was a sense of peace and joy. As much as there's, our people are surviving on survival mode for like food, water, shelter, there was peace. I didn't have to stress about waking up in the morning, my alarm going off, having to go to a 9 to 5. I was like, oh my God, I'd rather be hungry. I'd rather starve and be happy. No, seriously. There was like, it was just so liberating. I'm like, this is, even the hunger, I didn't feel it. You know what I mean? Like, it was just so peaceful, so joyful. I just felt a sense of no financial stress. I wasn't thinking about bills. I wasn't thinking about, I gotta pay my kids' childcare. That was completely deleted. The minute I stepped there, nothing. Besides just missing my children, it was just so peaceful. I said, wow, this is really nice. This is really healing. This is really liberating. I didn't have to think about all the things. Not obviously, I'm not taking away from the privilege of being here, but it goes back to the roots of your identity.
Before we speak, we must discover ourselves. Before I speak, I must discover myself. Speaking is what? Voice. Discovering yourself is what? Your identity.
Knowing who you are. So, and they correlate. Like we spoke about it. Like if you know who you are, you have the confidence and you have the courage to express yourself. And you know when to. You know when to be in solitude, and you know when to use your voice to come out of rooms or to just share, knowledge or insight. Am I changing my birth name, who I am as Nyaron, to Rose? When I apply for Nyaron, I ain't got no phone calls. It's very quiet. Mute. And then the minute Rose dang, phones are going off. I'm getting interviewed.
Yeah.
So you can imagine what that does to my own identity.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how I've been able to just to conform to this identity of Rose. Right? Same person, different name. Right? But operating under Rose because there's some sort of more advantage to that name.
Yeah.
Why? Right? And how I had to change my name because or conform to the pronunciation of my name.
Yeah.
For the comfort to accommodate how they say my name. Like they used to say Nyron or Nyron. And I have accepted it for a very long time. Until it was recently, I said, my God, the audacity.
Yeah.
Why do I have to accommodate for people to mispronounce my actual name? Right? And I get it, sometimes it can be hard, but like, why was it, you know, I'll get simple things like, oh, you can call me Rose, oh yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
That's easier. Then I'm like, and what does that do to me?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's easier. It's better. So don't introduce yourself as Nyaron.
You have to introduce
yourself as Rose.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it goes back to identity again. Oh, we can go.
And I think when you actually get there, you're like, no, it's not, it's Nakel.
Yeah. Literally.
Now I take time. If it's going to be 5 minutes, you will learn my name.
Yeah.
But you see, now it's the commanding. It's the harnessing because you're so proud of your name.
Yeah.
You're like, you will pronounce it.
Yeah, 100%.
The same way, guys, there's some European names, 12 letters.
Yeah.
And we pronounce it.
Yeah. And they will cut that short and try to make it like a short. Why are you cutting the rest of my name off? That's a part of who I am, identity.
Exactly.
So, you know, just those layers of barrier, you know, so I really wanted to highlight that. But now it's like beginning to be like becoming and knowing who I am. When I introduce myself now, I'm like, my name is Nyaron. Listen here, you guys are watching. My name is Nyaron. But you can call me Rose because
yes.
I don't mind.
Yes.
So I'm giving you that option, but I'm letting you know who I am.
Exactly.
Right? Because
Yeah.
that's my birth name. And and at the beginning it was just like so unfamiliar. Like it's my birth name, but it feels unfamiliar to me. Like I literally had to sit in the mirror and be like, you are Nyaron.
Mirror work, guys.
Mirror work. Woo!
Yes.
I love you. Ooh, cringe. That work was so hard. Like I love you. I forgive you. Oh.
Yeah.
The mirror work.
And that's what we need to. It is a need. It's actually not a want. It's a need. Identity and your voice is a need. You need to find a way to actually unpack all the programming, all the conditioning, you know, where you're told, for example, us girls, you're the oldest girls, you should do A, B, C, D. Somehow today I'm an adult, tomorrow I'm a child. Confusing.
Right.
You know? And hence why I say to myself, Nakel, who's your voice? Listen to your voice. Do you know your voice? I felt there was a point in my life I didn't know my voice. I knew my mom's voice, I knew my dad's voice, and I knew my community's voice. My community's voice would be like, Nakel, you know what? You're the age of 30 now. Where's your husband? Where's your kids?
Oh, thank you.
When are you going to graduate?
Yeah.
Everybody had something to say. So when I want to graduate, I ask myself, is it Nakel that wants to graduate? Or is it the community? Or is it your mother? A lot of our mothers grew up in homes where men had the voice. They came to Australia, they were given a voice. But remember, they were given a voice when they were still on survival. And to navigate that voice when you never had it, young, is not easy. Just like when you're given to what that's saying, to whom much is given, much is needed. So much is needed from you guys. All this time, I know we point fingers at each other, but let's go back and let everybody take their fair share of responsibility on how from home. And I'll always narrate this because when home is safe, the outside cannot do any harm. There's another quote, because I lead by quote. His name is, oh my God, I can't forget, how am I forgetting this guy's name? He said, if you beat the enemy within, the enemy outside cannot do any harm. we are our own enemy. At home, your voice is your own enemy. I told our mothers, how are you going to come and say your kids are fighting voices outside when they first started fighting your voice? The first voice they fought was yours. And you guys cannot even come and sit down as a family and understand that communication, every time someone is expressing hurt, it's not a fight. It's not me versus you. As my parent, I want to know that when shit hits the fence, excuse my French, when I'm outside, that I could call you. And you're not going to judge me. And you're not going to be, these friends of yours, I told you. I'm allowed to make mistakes. Just like you made mistakes.
Yeah. And
go back to you being a child. What do you wish would have been done different for you so that you can be where you dream in your life that you could have been a better person? When you start looking at it from that point, now you're going to have grace with your kids, and you as kids too are going to have grace with your parents. But sometimes where we clash is because your children can see that you've changed as well. So you can change. So you can unlearn. You're just choosing not to. And you only do it when it's what? Beneficial. Culture. A girl should cook. A girl should clean. A girl should do A, B, C, D.
Right. Take care of parental.
Take care of everything.
Yeah.
But then when she turns around and said, hey mom, I've done da 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 da. Can I do this? All of a sudden now, I'm a child. Confusion.
Yeah. Like which one is it? Pick one.
Exactly.
There is no timeline for your voice to be like, okay, like that's it.
Yeah.
It's the end of it. You can still learn, unlearn, heal in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s. I've been in my classroom and there's 40 years old, there's 50-year-old going back to school. We've set this cultural expectation of timeline that when you get to a specific age, you're meant to have accomplished study, you're meant to be married, you're meant to have children. Once I feel like we've released those shackles, because they're chains.
Yeah, they are chains.
You're chaining yourself, and that's restricting you to rediscover yourself. Because it's okay to rediscover yourself. It's okay to be like, actually, that version of myself didn't work for me. That version of myself was wounded. She needs therapy.
Yes.
She needs help. She was not it. And it's okay to give yourself grace. And that it doesn't take away from who you're becoming.
Yeah.
We all have a past. I have a past and I own it. I own it because if it wasn't for my past, I wouldn't be where I am. I give my parents grace because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I am. But it had to take me rediscovering and relearning who is Nyoron. Who is this South Sudanese Australian woman? What does she want? What are her gifts? And it goes back to, because when I was younger, I loved sports. I loved dancing, and I felt like my parents killed that dream. Because we did not come for you to run. We did not travel all the way across the country just for you to come and run. I loved sports. I was literally a tomboy. Like, I loved anything masculine. I could still do all of those things, the cooking and cleaning, but I thrived in that field. Yeah. It made me feel powerful. Yeah. You know, playing soccer, playing basketball, playing netball, I loved it. My favorite position was goal defense. And I'm out here defending my life. Seriously, but you know what I mean? Like, it's okay, mothers, grandmothers, it's not too late to redefine yourself. Yeah. We don't have to be defined by culture. We don't have to be defined by trauma. We don't have to be defined by other people's expectation. And I think in our community, as Africans in the diaspora, there is this fear of, I'm going to be judged, or I'm expected to be a certain way. So you can't even embrace you're becoming.
Yeah.
Because of all these expectations that, oh, if I don't do this, if I don't get married, or if I don't graduate, or you know, it doesn't meet the standard of my parents,
Yeah.
of the community. No.
Yeah.
Thrive in your own becoming of who you want to be.
Yeah.
And that's where true joy comes in.
Yeah.
And that actually takes solitude, going back to what you said. When you find comfort in being within yourself, because that's one thing that I struggle with. Because I've always been around chaos, I've always allowed that silence scared me.
Mm-hmm.
There was a fear in being alone.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. It was uncomfortable. I gotta get out, go do what I need to do. Like it was stimulating. Like I needed noise. I needed other people's voices.
Survival.
But that was contradicting my becoming. So when I went through a period of my life where I've actually sat myself down and I'm like, Rose, this is not working for you.
Yeah. It's not it.
This pattern.
It needs to stop.
It stopped.
Yeah.
And it had to start with the substance abuse. It had to start with the alcohol. It had to start with looking myself in the mirror and forgiving myself and releasing every other patterns, whether it was generational, whether it was my own behavior. Because we like to sometimes blame like generational patterns. No. Take accountability. Like take accountability for your own contributing in your behavior.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And that's where it starts. Accountability, I feel like it's the step towards healing.
Yeah.
Because you're acknowledging that, okay, I played a part in this and it didn't work for me and I need to leave.
Yeah.
Right? And also telling yourself that actually this environment, is it just trauma bonding?
Mm-hmm.
Because
That's
a big one. Is it the same conversations? Is it inspiring me? Is it elevating me? Is it moving me? Or because it's not, is it draining me?
Yeah.
And do you want to continue dwelling in that and being in that? So you have to come to a point in your life where you're like, this is not it. My environment's not it. This pattern is not it. And I'm going to silence every other voice in my life. And I'm going to sit in the stillness of finding my own voice. And it's something that you're going to have to continue to navigate throughout your entire journey.
Throughout. Yeah.
Right? Because you shift, you change.
Yeah.
If you've noticed that, okay, this is not, you do some tweaking, right?
Growth is a journey. It's not a destination. If you ever think you're gonna arrive, and this is one of my core principles, that I will never get to a stage in my life where Naka, you know it all. That's something that I say to myself.
Yeah.
No matter what, I'm gonna keep learning. I'm a lifelong learner. But when you get to, I've reached, now your cup is full. Nobody can pour. Even if they're pouring, it's just gonna keep coming out. Because to you, I'm everything. I'm it. I'm all. This is where we struggle in our community. And hence why I understand when the voice of our parents sometimes feel like, because I used to somehow make excuses for them. I'm like, oh, she's too old, she's not gonna learn it. I'm like, no. There's things she's learned. She learned a lot here in Australia. My mom learned to use social media. All of them know how to go live on Facebook right now. Our uncles know to step into the offices right now, and they're taking public funds. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So you are navigating the system. So you're learning. So meaning that when someone chooses not to, yes, there might be some hindrance. Yes, there might be that safeguarding to make sure, like, or, like you said, unfamiliar. If something is unfamiliar, it's going to feel scary. It's going to make your nervous system shake. But it doesn't mean it's wrong. Right? So you, the person that wants to learn, you, the person that wants to change your voice, not change your voice, harness your voice, know your inner voice. You will feel at some point like the worst thing you're doing for yourself, because everything around you, it's almost like it becomes a resistance, like everything is fighting you. Your own family members, what are you doing? But guess what? Boundaries are good for both of you guys. Respect is good for both of you guys. Because like Rose mentioned right now, Rose is a mom. She navigated being a mom while being a daughter. Do you understand how hard that is?
The load.
You're parenting your own children,
And
but your mom comes and tells you, you're not good enough.
Yeah.
But I'm a mom.
But I'm a mom. Let me do it my way. You've done it your way. It didn't really work for me. I got this. I got
This person, I've got this because somehow I've healed myself.
Yeah, and I've survived your parenting. Oh my God. Like, I love you. But if I survived yours, best believe I could.
Exactly. And that's why I say, like, when with intellectual, with being in Australia, and I know sometimes we come with this mentality that we know it all, take it down a notch.
Yeah.
There's some things that our parents know, and we gotta give them grace for it. So somehow they survived that war. Sometimes they came to Australia. Somehow they function in this system, whether we can dictate it or judge it and say it's this and that. If I put myself in my mom's shoes coming to Australia with 5 children while pregnant, I don't know how, in her 30s, I'm in my 30s, I have not one child, and I still feel like I'm surviving.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
They did their part. Let's give them their flowers. Our dad did their part. But to take it from there, it's saying, hey, mom, you got us here, but what I need to take to go there, you can't give me.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And I'm gonna, hopefully, you can navigate this with me, but trust that I've looked back. I've respected you. I've respected your journey. I've understood your journey to the depth that I can. Just the same way that you've somehow starting to understand me. How can we move forward for the betterment of our coming generation? Because your language, your tone, what it did to me will not be the tone that will raise the children that I'm about to have. Even you as a grandma, if you use that, that's a problem. That's where we need to like have that honesty without the blame, the finger pointing. Like we've passed that stage now. You know, we need to come to terms with everybody takes their load. Like there was a time me and Rose were talking like, yeah, we're mad at mom and dad.
Oh yeah.
Did they tell me to go buy alcohol?
Yeah.
Was it justified because I was angry at them that I would go hang out with friends that were not good for me? Is that justified? Just because I was in pain? And then now that I'm a substance user, now that I'm in addiction, I want to blame them, but now I'm in my 30s. Some people even going to their 40s. Do you know what I mean? Did our moms blame the war so much that they could not come to Australia? They still figured out a way. So let's take each other's loads. Like you need to sit with yourself where you take your own doing. Like I was like, Nakel, when you got that phone call and picked it up in the middle of the night and decided to leave the house and went somewhere that you're not supposed to go, that's you. That's not your mom. Yes, I understand you're in pain. Yes, I understand you're going through something, but that's on you.
That's right.
Just the same way that I hold my mom accountable. When you came home mad at so-and-so or mad at your husband and you came and projected that on me, that's on you. That had nothing to do with me. That's accountability. That's holding each other accountable. So, yes, I can say now, you know what? Yeah, mom. Yeah. Those spaces. Those friends. We're not it.
Yeah.
And that's my part. That's my doing. I drove that car there. I went and bought that liquor. I went and smoked that weed. I went and had that shot.
Did all that, yeah.
I did all that. I put myself in environments that were not safe for me. I did that. You didn't. Okay? Yes, your upbringing might have made you do that. So when we do that, it empowers you because you take your power back. One thing we need to realize, like when you give someone else your power. So if I'm waiting for Rose has to heal, Rose has to come and say sorry to me in order for me to be good, who has the power? Rose is holding my power. But if I say, you know what? Despite what Rose has done to me, despite what issues me and Rose have, I'm gonna forgive her. But you know what? Me and Rose is not it. From afar, you stay over there, I'm gonna be over here. And you can't even do with your parents.
That's right, yeah.
Sometimes we need that space. Sometimes we're like, Mom, I love you, but right now, Dad, I love you, but right now, we cannot.
Yeah.
Because if I don't take this break and figure me out, there will be no me and you.
Because when I think about it as a healing woman, as a becoming woman, because I wasn't able to comprehend that 15 years ago. I was full resentment, bitterness towards my dad, towards my mom. To a point where I was like, why did I come from this family?
Yeah.
Questioning, like, I wish I was in a different family. But as I got older, and as I, again, going back to the becoming and healing, and then studying mental health, drug and alcohol, I said, oh my God.
Yeah.
My parents,
wow,
the resilience that they carry, that irrespective to what they've gone through, they tried to the capacity that they knew. They loved me to the capacity that they were loved. And that sat really deep with me. And I was at that moment I was able to release them. Like, Mom, you have gone through such traumatic experiences, similar to an orphan. Mom passed. Dad had complex family dynamics, hence with the substances. And I said, I don't know what it's like to be my mom. And I could never be her. I could never. And I could never be in the shoes that my father did and still have this resilience. So not just only giving them grace, but also acknowledging their resilience and releasing them. And sometimes when you shift or you evolve, sometimes you're not in the same frequency to communicate, right? And you can just still move, because the one thing about our South Sudanese community, they respond to results.
Yeah, absolutely.
They respond to results,
Yeah.
right? So when they see you succeed, they're like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
What you were trying to communicate with me
Is this?
I didn't get it, but I get it.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But, and I think it goes back to acknowledging, our parents' resilience, giving them grace, and then extracting ourselves in solitude to find where is our voice.
Yeah.
Understanding your own gifts and your own talents, and harnessing that. Right? And we're really excited. Thank you for tuning in with us. And we look forward to our next episode.
And one thing that I'll add on to that, please watch that video with your parents.
Yes.
Guys, like I said, living room conversations. We want this not to be something that you just, because you can do it, but you can sit by yourself and watch it, but you want this to be passed on to your parents. I really want us to get to the way of communicating with them without communicating with them. You can use other people.
Right.
Use us.
Use this podcast.
Exactly. Watch this podcast, and the video we're gonna upload about public speaking. Let them watch it.
Yeah.
Let them watch it. We're in this together. We really are about the Ubuntu, the healing together. I am as you are. Keep tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you guys next time.
Thank you.